Hello, I'm Nick McArdle and thanks for tuning in to our 10th episode of RedsTV. Ewan and his men are back on the road again this week, crossing the ditch for what will be a tough two-game tour of New Zealand. And first up, they'll take on the Blues on Friday in Auckland. This weekend also marks the launch of Queensland Premier Rugby season. We'll be looking at how the 2012 season is shaping up a little later as we catch up with some of the Premier grade players. But to begin, a look back at the action from last Friday as the Reds took on the Stormers.
The St George Queensland Reds returned from the bye, refreshed and ready to take on South Africa's pace setters, the Stormers. The Reds were keen to extend their record run at Suncorp Stadium to 18 wins from 19 games. However, things didn't go quite to plan. RedsTV caught up with assistant coach Matt Taylor this week and started by asking him how the early loss of Sam Lane and Ben Tapawai had affected the Reds' game plan.
With us, we had all week preparing with Ben and Sam in that position, so to lose them in the first 10 minutes was hard for the team, and we had to adapt on the run with the other guys having to move different positions. Definitely in the second half, probably fought back, and we got that try from Kevy from the line out. But fair dues to the boys, I think we weren't far off probably breaking, and we just couldn't convert some of that pressure into points, unfortunately. Whenever you have a loss, you really look at yourselves as individuals and as a group, and certainly we thought that we did many things well, but there were certainly a lot of areas which we need to improve on. I think individually, people have got to take ownerships of the maybe little mistakes that they've made and make them better. As a team, I think as a group we just need to look at the kind of key areas which we need to improve on.
Well, the community game in Queensland is arguably Australia's best breeding ground for rugby talent, consistently producing Reds and Wallaby players of the future. It begs the question, who will emerge this year as the game's best up-and-comers? We don't have to wait long to find out. Queensland's Premier Rugby competition has been officially launched and kicks off this weekend. The 2011 Hospitals Cup was won by Sunnybank, but there are 9 other teams who will be looking to take home the silverware in 2012. RedsTV caught up with some of the captains during the week.
Queensland's Premier Rugby competition kicks off a new season this weekend, with 8 clubs from across Brisbane and 1 each from the Sunshine Coast and Gold Coast to battle it out with the hopes of securing the prestigious Hospital Cup in 2012. RedsTV joined a host of players and coaches at Rugby Key for the season launch to get an insight into what lies ahead for the Premier clubs this year.
We've got a really good club spirit, a lot of changes, new coaches in, a lot of changes around the club, and the new guys that have come in have really added some vitality to the place, so there's a really good feeling around the club. We've had a pretty good pre-season, built some good depth in the club, a few new players come in, so we're bonding together pretty well and looking forward to round 1 against Uni.
Look, essentially 2012 is going to be a rebuilding year for the club. There's been a pretty high turnover as far as players goes, as well as a new coach and a new committee. So, it's a pretty new feel, and the clubs look to go local back on the Sunshine Coast. You've got a lot of guys coming out of the local club comp, coming through and looking to make a name for themselves. So it's going to be an interesting year, but I think the boys will put on some good performances, and we'll see where we end up, come season end.
We're looking forward to it. We've got a lot of new players. We've recruited a few young guys, and we're looking forward to it. It's right through the grade this year, the North should be quite strong.
We've had a pretty good pre-season. Boys have been training very hard. Obviously pretty keen to turn around the back end of the season last year. Trials are simply about preparing for round 1. So we've had a pretty good preparation. We've played some tough teams, and we've won a few and lost 1. So we're feeling pretty good about things.
Good. We've recruited pretty well with the key positions that we've lost from last year, and trial form hasn't been great, but we're improving every week, and that's all we can ask for, and hopefully we can be competitive throughout the year. We've given a lot of young guys a go and given them an opportunity, and a lot of guys have stepped up as well, so I think by the end of the year we'll have a lot more depth, and we'll be fairly successful hopefully.
Sunnybank enters season 2012 as the reigning champions, and with former assistant coach Rod Saib at the helm this year, the Dragons are confident they've got what it takes to go back-to-back.
Extremely hard, just the nature of the competition, and the quality teams will come up against each week. For any team to sort of back up year in, year out, it's going to be very difficult, but obviously it's a challenge that we're going to relish, and obviously it starts this weekend against Souths, who will be very, very strong this year. So sort of be a long and interesting year, but hopefully at the end of it we can sort of be there or thereabouts come finals time, and hopefully get over the line.
Yeah, I did play a bit of soccer before I played footy. Yeah, look, I ended up being a bit too rough for that sport, so I decided to change. I'd probably have to say South Stradbroke.
South Stradbroke?
Just across the spit, yeah. Probably Radiki Samo, because he doesn't actually speak English. It's a bit hard to talk to.
At the beginning of the Super Rugby season, the star-studded Blues were thrown up as possibly the New Zealand side to beat and genuine title contenders, recruiting a host of All Blacks, including Piri Wipu and Ma Nonu, to join the likes of Reni Ranger and Kevin Mialamu. The Blues certainly looked formidable on paper. After a slow start, they've been trying to play catch-up, and they'll be keen to add another 4 points this weekend when they host the Reds. Let's take a look back at the last time these two sides met. It was a beauty, the Super Rugby semi-final of 2011.
Last year, the mighty Blues stood in the way of the St George Queensland Reds, earning the right to host their first ever Super Rugby final in the professional era. At home for the do-or-die semi in front of a huge crowd at Suncorp Stadium, it was a night for winger Rod Davies to remember. He was the hero and booked the Reds' place in the final by becoming the first ever Queenslander to score a hat-trick of tries. Quade Cooper also played a telling hand in the match, his individual brilliance setting up 3 of the Reds' 4 tries in the impressive 30-13 victory. Earlier that season, back in round 13, the Reds overran the Blues in another high-scoring encounter. The tight 37-31 win sent the Reds to new heights, extending their winning streak at home to 11 matches, while also surpassing a season record set way back in 1996 after reaching 10 wins for the season. This time around, the Reds are faced with a different set of circumstances. The Blues are tough to beat at home in Auckland, and they're desperate to break their run of 5 straight defeats, which is a club record.
When greatness calls, we will respond.
Thanks for joining me for our 10th episode. It is certainly a big weekend of rugby, and we wish the Reds and all the Premier grade teams all the best across the weekend. You can see the Reds game live and in high definition on Fox Sports. We look forward to your company. For those living in Brisbane, why not head to the Normanby and watch the game on the big screen. Look forward to seeing you next week. I'm Nick McArdle. Bye for now.
I'd like to thank the fans. Look at all of you staying around here. It's been amazing, the support throughout the years. I can't thank you enough.
We are Queensland. We are Red. Get your membership now. redsrugby.com.au